Hi, beautiful.
How are you, love? Oh, you have such a better setup than me. I have to figure it out.
No, your background is super
Lighting.
cute. You look super cute.
Like, there's no light in my place. Hi.
How are you, Keana?
I'm good. How
No,
are
let me make sure I get this right. It's Keana, right?
It's Keana, but
Keana, okay. So, Keana, how are you? So let me just tell you, the last time I saw you, you were walking down the carpet looking gorgeous as ever in February at the Independent Film Awards. Do you remember attending? Did you remember going to the awards?
that was amazing. That was a very good time.
You look so cute. I was like, oh my God, look at her. She looks gorgeous.
Yeah, give me 5 seconds.
Go ahead.
What's going on? All right. We're better. Okay.
So yes, you look so beautiful at the Independent Film Awards. I saw you walking down the carpet, and that was like right before COVID happened, and now here we are, 7 months later. Tell me, how have you spent your time during quarantine?
So at the top of COVID, I actually went to my parents' house in Florida, and I bought a one-way ticket. I brought 4 items, like 4 different T-shirts, and I was there for 3.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was intense. It was awesome. Very, very grateful for my parents. We were in the middle of nowhere, very isolated. So I definitely felt very isolated, but at the same time we were on a lake, so I can't really complain. There was like a lot of land to just sit with myself.
Yes.
But I didn't see any other human being or have a conversation with anyone that weren't my 2 parents in 3 months. So that was I love them to death, but it was really nice to get back home and remember that there are people my age in this world.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me I always ask people, because I just wonder, during quarantine, people have gotten creative. They've, discovered things about themselves. They've relearned things about themselves. I have to ask you the same thing. What have you discovered about yourself during this time? You said you got to spend time with yourself and your thoughts. What have you discovered about yourself?
God, so back to that, I think I've discovered how much, I think I was scared because I live alone. Mm-hmm. So everything like that was uncertain. I was like, I don't think I'll be able to survive my little space by myself.
Right.
And very grateful for my parents. I don't know how I would have been. As soon as I feel like my growth kind of plateaued. Because if I'm to be honest, because I feel like, I'm 25. I've been living on my own for 7 years, and my parents, as amazing as they are, I haven't been under their wing since 15, and it was awesome to have them there. I think I'm so used to like figuring everything out on my own and being independent. So I was, had to be dependent on my family, and I think I have a resistance when things like that come up, because I'm so like proud of like, no, I can do it on my own. So as soon as I felt kind of plateaued in a bit, or I was doing the growth. The growth was happening. I think the results came when I came back to LA, back to my space. I just felt, everything was uncertain. But with that being said, I didn't grow up in the house that I was staying at. So it was not that it was unfamiliar, but this is my home, and I'm very glad.
I love it. So today is National New Friends Day. Right?
Ooh,
how cool is that, right? So I have to ask you, are you big on meeting new friends, or like what is your rule? Are you like no new friends, or are you like, okay, I'm open to new friends?
All of my friends will tell you I'm the biggest extrovert of all time. I am a social. I think that's why quarantine hit me hard, because I need to converse, So no, I definitely, all of the new friends. I go to the coffee shop across the street, and I'm like, hey neighbor, like, you want to come over? I live right there. And I've been over once, and I'm very, very like friends with everyone type of gal. I love introducing friends to friends, and like, go be friends, go do your own thing, and I'll see you later. Like, I don't get stingy with my friendships. I think we should, same with work and opportunities. I think we should all win. I want everybody to win. There's opportunity and friends and love to go around. So
I love it. I love that spirit. I love that spirit.
I'm gonna tie my hair because it's doing some really weird things. So just
tie it. This is like, girl, we're unfiltered. Do whatever you have to do.
It's, you know, you think it's one way and then you're like, oh, this is what I like.
Now that's super cute too. I love your pony.
It's hot in here. The AC makes way too much noise, so I'm like,
I have to turn mine down too all the time because it's loud. So totally get it. Totally get it.
A backdrop right now that I'm looking at?
It's wallpaper, girl.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It's wallpaper.
You're like in a jungle. I love it.
I know, it's a jungle. It is a living jungle. It's a jungle. That's cute. Super cute.
Thank you.
Okay, so Keana, you were born in Nice, France. Is that right?
This is correct.
And then you moved to Miami at the age of 8.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you take up an interest in the arts and acting? When does this happen for you?
Ooh, I mean, I'm gonna have to tell you. So I've never been pregnant. Thank Jesus, Lord, amen. But my mom, I apparently you have this intuition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pregnant, and my mom had that feeling at the movie theaters. So I'm not gonna be like, but I feel like it's been cooking in there. And I've just been a very, like, I was always performing as a kid, I started as a dancer, and then doing a lot of dance, and everyone in my family, my sister and brother were very musical, and my mom plays the sax and the flute, so I always felt like music was their thing in a way, and so I was doing dance and stuff, and then I decided to get an agent in 7th grade. I was doing, like, music theater and Broadway. I was in Miami, so an agent in Miami in 7th grade just looks like commercial, and maybe once I went to a Nickelodeon like thing, but very near, near and far. But I did my first film when I was 17 in Miami, and it was an indie, and it did fairly well in the festival circuit. And I was set on. I mean, I went to an art school, so I've been blessed to know what I've wanted to do my whole life. I don't have a fear of failure. Yeah, it's happening. Let's do this.
And like you said, you got an agent in the 7th grade. Like, how does one get an agent in the 7th grade? Does your mom take you to
no.
How does this happen?
So my parents have been so supportive. I think from a young age, I was vocal about what I wanted to do, and they've always been extremely supportive. Thank God. I think if they weren't, who knows where I would be if people were telling me, no, you can't do this. That's where, I had all the support that, like, the sky is not even the limit, you know what I mean?
Right.
So with that being said, no, I was the one, like, I want to get an agent. I want to do this. I think growing up in France and even Miami, I grew up fairly quick.
Mm-hmm.
And, it has some cons, but more than anything, it has a lot of pros. Because by the time I got here, there was no messing around, no having to figure my things out. It's like, let's get to work.
Ready to go.
Yeah. So very much like, and so I got an agent because I was in an acting class, and they did some form of, like, a showcase at the end of the semester, and then, like, oh, I'm an agent, I'd like to rep you. So that's how it all started a long time ago.
Yes, because, I asked because so many people watch these, and, they're looking to break into the business. And I'm, like, always interested in how, 7th grade, and you got it on, you were interested in getting it on your own. I thought that was
my biggest advice for people who are trying to break it, because I'm giving you all the secrets, I'm not trying to.
I love it.
My biggest advice for actors specifically who are trying to, get representation, join acting classes. Obviously, we're in a COVID world. So I would say join acting classes, because a lot of the times that's how you get reps, is either, like, the coach knows somebody, or they have a showcase. Or another thing I would say is do even, like, non-paid. I was doing some non-paid, like, USC films and, like, college, because you're helping each other out. Like, they need actors, and you need to show that you've done something. And those films, even though, yes, they're not for the money, first of all, they could be really good stories, and that's, I don't know why you're in, like, why people are acting, but for me, it's not about the money. And so, honestly, that's another way to get people to see you. And a lot of times at film festivals, they'll be like, oh, who's that? I mean, I have my amazing Dan Caslow manager watching. I got with him because of my first film, went to the festival circuit, and it played at Sony, and he had his eyes on it, and yeah, the rest is history.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Make films. Go out and make. You don't need to wait around for people to tell you, like, to give you a role. Go out there and write, like, or stay inside and write is what I meant. Then go out there and make the movies.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've recently started doing that, and it just, there's so much liberty in, like, speaking your own voice, and everyone wants to hear what you have to say. So please, if this, like, resonates with you, go make the movies, please.
Please. You heard what she said. You heard what she said. Go make the movies. Go write them inside and then go out and make them. I love it. So, Keana, when you graduated high school, you moved to LA to start your career, right? And you've been in a lot of different projects, Life in Pieces, Goldbergs. What would you say your first big break was? What was your big break moment?
Big break? Has it happened? No, I don't know. I think I love every project. I think, if anything, this is, we're looking at it. If I'm very honest, yeah, I think we're looking at it. And November 10th, we'll be looking at it even more. So
we will. And speaking of November 10th, that brings me to my next question and my next thing.
Look at that. We're getting the transitions aligned.
Yes, we are aligned. You and I, we have synergy. Dash and Lily, I'm so excited for this. I cannot wait. The 8-episode show is based off the book series, Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. Nick Jonas is an executive producer. How cool is that? And it kicks off right in time for holiday season. We are dying for holiday movies. Like, Lifetime has them coming out, Netflix. I'm ready for the holiday movies. I have to ask you, Keana, did you read the book before you got this role, or after, or have you read it at all?
So I have to finish reading the other ones, but yeah, I read the first one after the fact. I mean,
okay.
I did that much prep for my 1 sides of 4 lines audition. But no, I read it after the fact, and they're great. I mean, the writers, David and Rachel, are parts out to them. I don't know if people know this, but they also are the writers of Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlists.
Yes.
So yeah, they're really cool. I really grateful for them.
And you're not new to the Netflix family. You've also appeared in Huge in France, Flaked. So you're set to star as Sophia. She's described as the ex-girlfriend to Dash. Talk to us about Sophia. What can we expect from Sophia? Break it down. Give us the tea.
All right, so I want to start off by saying, like, Sophia is not your stereotypical ex-girlfriend. She's not the ex-girlfriend that people love to hate. On the contrary, she's very lovable. She's very charismatic, but not in the sense where, I mean, Lily, you know, feels some type of way, maybe, who knows, but I think she comes back to New York. You have to understand, they only broke up because I moved out of town. So it's not like we had this huge falling out, you know, all these things. And so I'm back in town now, and it's like familiar and comfort, and I love him as to any capacity, as a friend. You know, we understand each other. I think both Sophia and Dash are ahead of their time as far as, like, they're high schoolers, but what intrigued them to each other is their love books, and so they get off on talking about literature and languages, and she speaks 6 languages, so you'll see a language before. So I felt very similar to Sophia in some aspects. She's very extroverted, like I am. I honestly, I don't know if you believe in astrology, but I feel like
I do. I'm big on it.
Like, we have, like, basically the same chart. She's very much Cancer, like, emotional, nurturing, but then that Leo fire coming in hot.
Leo fire.
Yeah. She's great, though. I think you guys are gonna really love her. She truly brings up, like, problems in the fact that I think the audience is gonna be like, oh, team Dash and Lily, oh, team Dash and Sophia, oh, which one, and it's gonna go back and forth. It's not gonna make it easy for you.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those. I love it. You guys shot the film in New York, is that right?
Yes, it's right.
What was the best part of filming in New York with all of these this cast, so beautiful. I love the cast. What was it like filming in New York on this project?
So, magical. First of all, I love New York City. I've only been, I mean, now a handful of times, but funny enough, the only time that I have actually been in New York was the first week of December. So to me, New York was always that magic, that, you know, like holiday, like all these things. And And so it was just so funny, like, oh, of course I'm going to shoot a show in New York, and it's going to be everything I love about the city and how and just to even make it even more awesome, spoiler alert, there's a scene where there's actual snow falling on my head, and it wasn't planned, of course.
Wow.
I'm like wearing a very floss, basically floss, but for my Miami blood. But honestly, I couldn't even focus on the cold because I'm just like, there's actual snow falling on my head.
Snow.
Oh, there was supposed to be snow in the scene in that moment, so it was like magical. We don't have to, you know, fake it or anything. It's really in the scene.
Wow, I love it. What are people gonna get from the film? Why should they tune in on November 10th to Netflix to watch Dash and Lily?
So I think first, like you said, there's never a better time right now. I mean, everyone's been hunkered down and low spirits, and genuinely, on a genuine non-biased level, when I watched the show, I was just like baffled. I mean, like it was so good. It was so good, and to be a part of something, not only is the story great, the acting great, the costume design, the set location, the prop. I mean, everything to the T, to the editing, to the sound design. I went to film school and I'm a filmmaker myself, so I really appreciate all of the, like, there's so much, people don't realize how much it takes to make something happen. I mean, it's like one thing falls out of place and it's off, you know what I mean? So for everything to be aligned so well, I mean, it's hats off to the team. Definitely, like, the entire team that's involved was amazing, and I think it's a feel-good show and people are gonna love it. Honestly, it's technically YA, but genuinely my 30-year-old brother watched it and he's like, oh my god, what's next? And like I'm binging the whole thing. I think it's gonna all the kinds of people, every demographic we represent. I mean, it's a good show. I'm excited. Not, you know, I love working, and there's some shows, some TV shows, some films, some projects that just touch you more than others, and I feel like this was one of them in that regard. Like, I'm so proud to be a part of something so great, and I can't wait for it to be out there for you.
I can't wait either. What would you say is the message of the series, of the show? What is the message? What is the overall message that people will leave with after watching?
You know, in this day and age of like overly consuming technology and dating apps, I mean, that's amazing. Like, I know so many people that have found love on dating apps, and that's amazing. With that being said, there's something about the tangibility of, you know, real connection in person that's kind of going away. And Dash and Lily it's set in real time, and, you know, one's on their phone and Lily's here like writing in a notebook on the subway, or I always mess this up, subway,
yeah.
Miami, and like I remember in New York they're like, it's not the metro. I'm like, oh.
No. No.
And I think it's just beautiful that they're like falling in love through this notebook. They haven't even met. They're doing a scavenger hunt through New York City. It's very tangible, and I know that's my favorite word. I say it all the time, but there's something about feeling, like touching the notebook, knowing that she wrote it, he wrote, and then smelling, oh, maybe he got a coffee stain on that page. It just makes it real versus then a swipe, what's next? You know what I mean? And I'm to, you know, say that those are bad. Once again, like, I've tried the whole dating thing for a few weeks and found love in the club, you know, so it happens for sure.
Wherever you find it, right? Wherever you find it.
You know, you never know. Sometimes it's in a notebook at the Strand.
You never know. Well, we'll be tuned in on November 10th to Dash and Lily. And people were asking, is it a movie or a series? But it's a series, right? It's an 8-part series.
So it's, I mean, it might as well be a movie because you can binge watch the whole thing in 3.5 hours.
Right.
Crazy, but awesome.
Super crazy. Keana, you mentioned that you were a filmmaker. And I know that you have a passion, and like you said, you went to film school for screenwriting, and you were in the process of writing your own script. Is that right?
Right. So I actually went to film school for cinematography. So I've always been a visual person. And my mom's a photographer. My dad was a videographer. So growing up, I would take their cameras and make, like, I have so many docs and, you know, stupid films that, you know, watching them now, I was like, wow, I was 10 when I made this. Okay. But I wouldn't show them and say, this is the work that I've done, if you know what I mean. But with that being said, screenwriting kind of scared me. I don't know why. It just felt like that's the one thing that, like, And then I got Final Draft about a year ago, and I started writing, and it just, I think being an actor, having read as many scripts as I've had, and luckily most of my stories are just already here. So it's just like a, and so yeah, I actually just completed my first directorial debut. It's called I Comes In. Thank you. We're doing the festival circuit right now, so tune in. I mean, we don't know when that will be out. Keep a lookout for that. And currently writing a series and my first feature, and I have my second short ready to go into production and finalized as far as script goes.
Wow. So that's what you've been busy during quarantine. You've been working, girl.
Oh no, I started 2 companies during quarantine. Like, let's LLC, let's go. I'm living.
High five, sister.
Thank you. I'm feeling like an adult. I went to a farmer's market yesterday for the first time as, like, intentionally, like, I'm gonna go buy my groceries at the farmer's market, and I'm like, what have I been doing my whole life? I'm never going to the grocery store ever again. Like, this is so cool. Like, little Sunday, I don't know. I felt like such an adult. It was great.
You are adulting. You're 25. You're adulting.
Oh, but that's part of it. So you're starting to write the scripts, you know, and then you go to the farmer's market. It's all, you know, there's no order.
No order. It's no order. You're right. There is no order. I'm 37, and trust me, there's no order. So you're doing your thing. You're doing your thing. Well, we'll be looking for what your projects. Keep us posted so that we can talk to you about your projects. I can't wait. But before you go, we have to play a quick rapid fire. It's Ashley's 5 and 5. So 5 questions, 5 minutes, or 5 seconds. It doesn't matter. Just answer how you would like. Okay. Favorite city?
Oh my God. I have a lot more traveling to do, but where I have been so far, I'm gonna go with New Zealand is a country. It's not a city. So I don't know. The city, let's just say New York right now is the first thing in my head. I don't know. I can't think. I should leave the States. Barcelona? I need to do some more traveling. But let's go.
You're good. Favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? I love Halloween.
Oh, it's coming up. What are your plans?
Sorry?
What are your plans?
Oh, no idea. I might be thinking of doing a super small, like, this just came to me yesterday, like a very murder mystery, like, dinner thing. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I got invited to one last year, and I was in New York shooting, so I wasn't able to attend, but I'm like, that sounds fun, like, little interactive game, and I love cooking, and every time I have, like, a few friends over, I'm like, it's a potluck. Everybody brings something.
So brings me to my next question. You say you love cooking. What's your favorite meal to cook?
Oh God. You know, as a, like, kid, I was obsessed with fried rice. I know it's really
me too.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
It's like my feel-good food now. I'm like, oh, fried rice. Like, I'm sick. I'm like, fried rice. It's so rare. But I think that's something that that was probably the first thing I learned how to cook because I loved it. And I was like, I need to know how to make this. And for the holidays, my parents, we don't really do a traditional, like, Christmas dinner. We normally like very French, like, things. There's a thing called raclette, which is a whole thing. You put cheese on top and then you got veggies. It's like a whole experience. Try it one day if you ever have.
Wow, okay.
I made a fried rice for Christmas one year, and you're probably like, what?
No.
Good. It was really good, and, you know, I'm gonna say I'm really good with spicing things. You know, if you get the right spices, you can make anything good. Truly.
Do you post your recipes on your Instagram?
No, you know, I want to start, like, cooking things that I'm not used to, like, things that I would never think about. So okay. I've had the intention for a while. I've downloaded the recipe apps. Mm-hmm. It's just like, where do I find the time? But I have to find the time. I mean, during quarantine, I was baking, you know, bread and everyone was. But I was at my parents' and they have a way bigger kitchen and arsenal of supplies. So
I think we're on 4. I lost count. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? You'll be 35, girl.
God, that's exciting. 30, flirty and thriving. No.
I love it. I love it. Love it.
No, I mean, I think I would have had a lot more projects under my belt, not just as an actor, but as a filmmaker, producer, writer, all that jazz. Hopefully with a house in Costa Rica, probably on vacation specifically right now, having a fresh squeezed juice.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to have like different properties around the world and invest. My parents have done that, and I think I've learned through them to just, so then I could travel to those places and then Airbnb it when I'm not there. So it's like a constant, form of.
I like your thinking, sister. I love it, Keana. I love your spirit. I love everything that you're doing. Congratulations on the movie. We will be watching November 10th on Netflix, Dash and Lily. And keep us posted on everything else you have coming up so we can talk about it.
Yes, thank you so much. You also, I love your spirit. You're wonderful. Thank you. Backdrop, it just makes I feel like I'm back in Costa Rica already,
We're in Costa Rica together.
Wonderful.
Drinking our juice.
Lovely.
Love it. Thank you so much, Keana. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Where's the buzz?
Oh,
Where
is the buzz? You said
used to be a singer.
mine.
Where is the buzz?
Ooh.